A very good morning, dear children. Today we are going to start with chapter 11, Human Body and Organ System. We know that humans are multicellular, which means that they are made up of numerous cells in the body. These cells, they all come together to form tissues. Tissues come together to form organs, and organs come together to form organ systems. There are various systems that work simultaneously or work at the same time in our body. The system in which lungs are involved are called as the respiratory system. The system in which kidney is involved is the excretory system. The system in which intestines are playing a major role is digestive system. And the system in which the heart is a part is called circulatory system. So you have many different systems that work together in your body. These body systems, they work together and simultaneously in your body so that every different function of the body happens smoothly. Okay, so we are going to be learning two systems today, that is circulatory system and respiratory system. So today we are going to start with respiration. Respiration is of three types: external, internal and cellular. From that, we'll start first with external respiration. External respiration is nothing but inhalation and exhalation. As I'm talking through the process, I'll explain every organ involved. The first organ involved in this is the nasal cavity. Air is inhaled through the nose. The nose consists of hair and mucus that helps in filtering the air that enters into the body. The second organ that is involved in respiration after the nose is pharynx. Pharynx is nothing but it is the place where the food pipe and the windpipe originate. Now the windpipe, if you see, it is present in front of the food pipe and there is a lid at the beginning of the windpipe. Whenever we swallow the food, the lid of this windpipe, it closes so that the food does not enter into the windpipe. Okay? This is how the lid closes. So whenever you are swallowing the food, the lid closes the windpipe. This lid is called as the epiglottis. So the epiglottis closes the windpipe during swallowing of food so that food does not enter into the windpipe and prevents choking. After pharynx comes the trachea. The trachea is a pipe that divides into two. The trachea divides into two called as the bronchi. One of it enters into the left lung and one enters into the right. Lung is a sponge-like organ that is present on either side of the heart in the thoracic cavity. Each lung has a double layered covering which is called as the pleura. Once the bronchi enters into the lungs, it is further divided or it further branches out, which is called as the bronchioles, and at the end of the bronchioles you have small compartments called as the alveoli. This is a small compartment called alveoli, and if you see, they are surrounded by capillaries. Okay, rich network of capillary is present. Now the wall of the alveoli and the capillary is very thin because this is where you have oxygen and carbon dioxide going to be exchanged. Okay, the capillary consists of, in the capillary you have the RBCs or the blood passing through the capillary. Okay, now let's take a look at this. So you have the trachea dividing into two, that is the bronchi. Bronchi further divides you branches which are called as the bronchioles, and the bronchioles have compartments called alveoli. Now Let's see how this entire process happens. So what we have done is we have inhaled air through the nasal cavity, or we have inhaled it through the nose. So the nose is the first organ. After that, it passes through the air that you have inhaled, or oxygen that you have inhaled after the nose passes through the pharynx, or also called as the windpipe. After that, it passes through the trachea. From the trachea, it passes through the bronchi. From the bronchi, the oxygen enters into the bronchioles, and then ultimately it has come and it has reached the compartment, the alveoli. Now what has happened is the oxygen has reached the alveoli, that is a small compartment that you see. Now what has to happen from here? The oxygen that has reached the alveoli should now pass to all the different parts of the body. Who's going to help it in doing this? The RBC is going to help. That is in the capillary. Now, hemoglobin is a protein that is present on the RBC, and we know that RBC is a part of the blood, and blood passes through every single part of the body. So when blood passes through all the different parts of the body, the hemoglobin that is on the RBC, it collects the carbon dioxide from every single part of the body. So carbon dioxide is collected from all the different parts, and then it circulates and it comes towards the lungs. When it reaches the lungs and it's passing and coming in contact with alveoli, what is going to happen? The carbon dioxide which the RBC has collected from the different parts of the body is given to the alveoli, and the alveoli in return gives oxygen to the RBC. So there's a exchange that is taking place here. Carbon dioxide is given, oxygen is taken. This oxygen which this RBC is taken now again passes through all the different parts of the cell, and every cell in the body receives oxygen. Alright, so this is how respiration is taking place. However, there is one very important organ in the respiratory system, that is the diaphragm. Now, diaphragm is a muscular portion that is present at the base of the thoracic cavity. This is very much important because its upward and downward movement increases and decreases the pressure in the lungs, because of which inhalation and exhalation is possible. Whenever diaphragm moves up, the lungs has less space, because of which the gases in the lung moves out. And when the diaphragm moves down, the lung has more space, because of which inhalation takes place. Let's look at this. So when it's moving down, more space lungs have got, so it takes in air. And when it's moving up, the pressure increases on the lungs and it releases the air out. So the upward and downward movement of the diaphragm is very much important, so that breathing becomes possible. That was about external respiration. Coming to the next type, that is internal respiration. External respiration, when we learned, we saw that it is the exchange of gases that takes place between the human body and the environment. That is when you call it to be external. Internal respiration is nothing but when gases are exchanged between cells and tissues. When we learned about alveoli and capillaries, we saw that there was exchange that took place inside the body. Exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen that takes inside the body is called as internal respiration. Okay, so exchange of gases between cells and tissue fluid is called as internal respiration. Cellular respiration. We do a lot of work throughout the day. The energy that is needed for all this work to be done is obtained from the food we eat. The food that we eat consists of glucose, and this glucose is broken down to give rise to energy. This breaking of the glucose, however, needs oxygen. So, the air that we have inhaled or oxygen that we have inhaled is taken up by the cell and used by the cell to break down the glucose so that energy can be released. This process of breaking down of glucose with the help of oxygen to give rise to energy is called as cellular respiration. I hope respiration and respiratory system is clear to all. Thank you.